Happy Friday! Welcome back to Leaders in Literature. Very excited this month of April to be talking about popular YA novel Divergent. It just came out, the movie version just came out in theaters last Friday, a week ago. And in my reread of this book, I discovered that the plot is driven forward almost entirely by the protagonist's strong sense of self and her ability to think critically, which is awesome and exciting. We find Beatrice and her brother and a series of other characters on the day of the aptitude test in this world. The test is essentially a test where they're supposed to find out what faction they belong in. There are 5 factions in this world, in this city that they live in, each of which value a different virtue the strongest. And this aptitude test is supposed to tell them which of these factions they're inclined to be a part of. So Beatrice takes the test and essentially fails because instead of having one faction that she's supposed to be a part of, she's told, you have actually 3 that you could possibly be, but don't tell anyone because it means you're divergent and that's scary and etc, etc, etc. So Beatrice, her inclination of what to be is kind of goes out the window because she's inclined to be more than just one thing, which I think is true for all of us, but in this world that's wrong. In addition to her own personal inclination, there's several outside influencers. There's her own faction she grew up in, there's her family, there's what she thinks is cool, there's what she sees of these other factions, there's the preconceived notions of what these factions all stand for and believe in, and her responsibility now is in choosing what the right decision is at the following day, choosing day, where she chooses what faction she belongs in for the rest of her life. Her life. It's a very extreme situation that she has to be, that she's a part of, and I think it still relates to teenagers today. The night before choosing day, she's having dinner with her family, and she asks her father a series of questions, and she says, "I shouldn't speak again, but I can't help myself." I blurt out, "Why are they doing this?" "Why don't you take this opportunity to listen to your father, Beatrice?" my mother says gently. It's phrased like a suggestion, not a command. In this moment, her mother is passively, but essentially, telling Beatrice to kind of conform and do what she's told and just listen to what's given to her and not try to explore what's underneath that. Beatrice's strength, however, in that moment, is her curiosity, and in general, is her curiosity. That's where her power lies. It's not taking just what's given to her, it's looking for the why underneath it. It's looking for kind of what's not being said aloud, what's beneath the surface. And that's her power throughout the book. This is related to teens for sure. We talk about students as being sponges. Oh, they're a sponge of information. That's great. It's a virtue. It's something that we look for in students. And yet, what I'm interested in is when there's a lesson on Columbus and to revere him for his discovery of the New World, I'm interested in the student that's saying, yeah, but really? Didn't he do some whack stuff too? Tell me about that. Or the student that, when we talk about the virtues of an imperialistic state, is like, yeah, but really? It's good all the time? That's a good thing to do? And to be not just sponges, but sponges that are able to wring themselves out. And what I'm interested in as educators is how we promote those qualities. How do we promote that questioning? How do we promote that critical thinking, that asking for why, rather than punishing it? I think that will help us build the strong leaders of tomorrow that we need now and will need tomorrow. That's about it on my end for this month. I'm excited to see you again next month. I have a lot of discussion questions below on really just the premise of the book if you want to explore it with your class. Until next time, I'm Allie, and this has been Leaders in Literature. Thanks.